Welcome to the Famous Historical Battles channel. Today, we are going to talk about one of the oldest battles, the Battle of Kadesh. It was one of the greatest battles of the ancient world, a confrontation between two superpowers locked in a struggle for dominance over the Near East. The Battle of Kadesh, fought around 1274 BC, pitted the forces of Pharaoh Ramesses II against the mighty army of the Hittite king Muwatalli II. This titanic encounter, fought near the city of Kadesh in modern-day Syria, was not only a military engagement, but also a test of strategy, deception, and resilience. It marked one of the earliest recorded battles in history and produced the world's first known peace treaty. Yet, beyond its historical significance, Kadesh stands as a symbol of the high-stakes power struggles that defined the late Bronze Age. This was not merely a contest for territory, it was a battle for supremacy in an era when vast empires vied for control over lucrative trade routes, fertile lands, and strategic fortresses. The consequences of this battle would ripple through the centuries, shaping the political landscape of the ancient Near East. The rivalry between Egypt and the Hittite Empire was a long-standing one. The Hittites, centered in Anatolia, modern-day Turkey, had expanded their influence into northern Syria, bringing them into direct conflict with Egyptian ambitions in the region. The city of Kadesh was a highly strategic stronghold, serving as a gateway to both the Levant and Mesopotamia. Control over Kadesh meant control over crucial trade routes, making it a prize that neither empire could afford to lose. Under Pharaoh Seti I, the Egyptians had previously attempted to assert dominance over Kadesh, but had been unable to maintain a lasting presence. When Ramesses II ascended to the throne of Egypt, he sought to rectify this situation. Determined to reassert Egyptian hegemony, he launched a massive military campaign to reclaim Kadesh from the Hittites. Muwatalli II, the Hittite king, was equally determined to maintain his grip on the region and had spent years assembling a vast coalition of allied forces, including contingents from Syria, Anatolia, and Mesopotamia. Ramesses II marched north with an army reportedly numbering around 20,000 men, divided into 4 divisions: Amun, Ra, Ta, and Seth. These divisions were composed of highly trained charioteers, infantry, and auxiliary troops. The Egyptian army was renowned for its discipline and battlefield maneuverability, relying heavily on fast, mobile chariots armed with archers. In contrast, Muwatalli II had assembled an even larger force, estimated to be between 30,000 and 40,000 soldiers. The Hittites possessed heavier, 3-man chariots designed for brute force assaults. Their strategy hinged on surprise and overwhelming numbers, utilizing Kadesh as a fortified base from which to lure the Egyptians into a trap. Muwatalli employed a brilliant ruse. He sent false informants to Ramesses, convincing the Egyptian leader that the Hittite army was still far to the north. This misinformation led Ramesses to advance hastily with only his leading division, Amun, unaware that the bulk of the Hittite army was concealed nearby. As Ramesses set up camp near Kadesh with the Amun division, his army was stretched dangerously thin. It was at this critical moment that Muwatalli launched his ambush. Thousands of Hittite chariots suddenly surged forth, smashing into the unsuspecting Egyptian forces. The Amun division was caught completely off guard and crumbled under the onslaught. Chaos erupted as Egyptian soldiers fled or were cut down, while Ramesses himself found his forces in disarray. At this moment, Ramesses faced one of the greatest crises of his reign. His army was on the brink of annihilation, and his position was perilous. The Egyptian pharaoh, however, refused to accept defeat. In an extraordinary display of personal leadership, Ramesses II rallied his remaining forces and launched a desperate counterattack. Seizing his chariot, he led a charge against the advancing Hittites, personally cutting down enemy soldiers and inspiring his troops to stand firm. Egyptian reinforcements from the Ta division arrived just in time, preventing a complete collapse. The battle devolved into a brutal melee, with both sides sustaining heavy casualties. As the dust settled, the Hittite chariots, having overextended themselves in their assault, found themselves vulnerable to counterattacks. Unable to press their advantage, the Hittites withdrew, allowing Ramesses to regain some measure of control over the battlefield. Despite Ramesses' heroics, the Egyptians were in no position to decisively defeat the Hittites. Muwatalli II still controlled Kadesh, and the Egyptian army, battered and exhausted, could not press further. Similarly, the Hittites, having suffered significant losses, refrained from launching another full-scale assault. In the end, the battle concluded as a tactical stalemate, though both sides would later claim victory in their official records. The Egyptians portrayed Ramesses as a hero who had single-handedly turned the tide, while the Hittites viewed their ability to retain control of Kadesh as a strategic success. In the years following the battle, neither Egypt nor the Hittites could achieve a decisive advantage over the other. The prolonged struggle eventually led to the signing of the first recorded peace treaty in history, the Egyptian-Hittite Treaty under Ramesses II and Muwatalli III, Muwatalli's successor. This treaty established a framework for peaceful relations and mutual defense, setting a precedent for diplomatic agreements in world history. The Battle of Kadesh remains one of the most studied engagements of the ancient world, not only because of its scale, but also due to the wealth of surviving records, including Egyptian inscriptions, Hittite cuneiform tablets, and archaeological findings. It offers valuable insights into ancient military tactics, statecraft, and propaganda. The battle also highlighted the limitations of warfare in the Late Bronze Age despite massive armies and sophisticated tactics. Outright conquest often remained elusive. Instead, diplomacy and negotiation became crucial elements of statecraft, as evidenced by the peace treaty that followed. For Ramesses II, Kadesh cemented his reputation as one of Egypt's greatest pharaohs. His temples at Abu Simbel and Karnak immortalized his exploits, ensuring that his version of events would echo through millennia. Yet, modern historians recognize that Kadesh was not a decisive Egyptian victory, but rather a hard-fought engagement that underscored the fragility of imperial ambitions. The Battle of Kadesh stands as a defining moment in ancient history, encapsulating the ambitions, strategies, and political realities of the Late Bronze Age. It was a confrontation between two of the world's greatest powers, fought with all the might and cunning of the era. Though neither side emerged as the clear victor, the battle's legacy endures in the annals of military history. Even today, the lessons of Kadesh resonate: the perils of deception, the power of leadership in crisis, and the ultimate necessity of diplomacy in the face of perpetual conflict. It was not just a clash of chariots, it was a struggle for the future of civilization itself. Thank you for watching this video. Please subscribe, like, and share the video to discover new famous battles.